Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to be doing our first mock draft for the NFL draft this year. The Jacob Dow Sports 1.0 mock draft. We'll have a couple of these coming out. We'll do this one now, obviously. Combine is this week, so we'll do a post-combine one. Obviously, one before the draft is like a final predictive mock. We might have a couple more sprinkled in there. Also want to do player position rankings, where I think things will go. Talk about some of the guys that aren't really first-round talents and where they stack up compared to these, upper echelon first-round guys here in this draft. And now the first pick of the draft, the Raiders on the clock. It's the easiest pick of the draft. It's Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback out of Indiana. Raiders, they had a couple things going on. I like the last couple of their drafts. They got Brock Bowers 2 years ago, Ashton Jeanty this year, who was actually flown under the radar for the work he's done with that offensive line. Obviously, the Pete Carroll, Geno Smith experiment didn't work. So now Clint Kubiak coming in, hot off of a Super Bowl win as the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. He's going to get his quarterback with the number 1 overall pick, Fernando Mendoza, to lead this team, to be the future. Fernando Mendoza, Heisman winner, obviously. The only quarterback in this draft that I actually have a first-round grade on. There could be the Ty Simpson argument. I have like a day 2, day 3 grade on him. I could see a team, maybe taking a shot on him. Maybe like the Jets with their later first-round pick, or one of these teams that has, multiple picks. But I think the clear and obvious choice, don't have to spend too much time on it, quarterback Fernando Mendoza to the Raiders with the first overall pick. And now is where the draft really begins with the Jets here, number 2 overall. I've gone back and forth here. You can go edge, you can go backer. There's a couple different routes you can go. I ultimately ended up going with Arvell Reese, the linebacker/edge hybrid out of Ohio State. And I think that's exactly why, is because he's a linebacker-edge hybrid. He gives you that pass rush upside while also being able to do things off the ball. Jets are loaded. They have 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years. You do not need to take a shot to trade picks to get a quarterback. Get weapons in this draft to take your quarterback of the future in next year's draft, which will have a substantially better quarterback class than this year. You got guys like Arch. You got guys like Darian Mensah. You got guys like Dante Moore. So many names. Get weapons to build that team around so that whenever you take your quarterback, there's things. Now, Arvell Reese, not really a weapon for your quarterback, but he is a piece for this team and a building block for the future. I think he has extremely high upside as an edge rusher, and also has, as we saw at Ohio State, the ability to do things off the ball. So I think the Jets are going to go with the upside here at number 2 and take Arvell Reese. And now, with the 3rd overall pick, the Arizona Cardinals. As of right now, Kyler Murray is still the quarterback of this team. Whether that is the case, a week out from me recording this, I don't know. But as of right now, Kyler is still the quarterback. Kyler has weapons. He has Marvin Harrison Jr. He has Michael Wilson. He has Trey McBride. Those are 3 good weapons. Marv, he has some room to improve, not all the upside that we wanted, but definitely has the ability to be a game changer. Where this all starts for Arizona to get this offense going is the offensive line. And that's ultimately where I ended up going. I went with Francis Mauigoa, the offensive tackle from Miami. I think he's the number 1 offensive tackle in this class. There's been concerns, he's not the biggest guy, the arm length. Worst case scenario with a Francis Mauigoa pick, he's a 3-year starter at Miami. And that Miami team, if you're a 3-year starter on the offensive line and you start as a true freshman, you're very, very good. He's a 3-year starter at Miami. And he can come in, and the downside of him would be you just have in a high level guard. I truly do think this can be a multiple contract offensive tackle, and that's what you're looking for when you're drafting offensive tackle in the first round is a guy that you can award multiple contracts to, a guy that can come in and be a cornerstone of the offensive line for years to come. That offensive line is a mess. If you want Kyler Murray to be the quarterback and you want to see these weapons be taken advantage of to the highest extreme, go ahead and get your guy on the solidify that offensive line. Francis Mauigoa is the pick for the Arizona Cardinals here at number 3. The Tennessee Titans here at number 4. Again, kind of like the Jets, there's a lot of ways you can go, except I do believe the Titans have found their quarterback in Cam Ward, who showed a lot of promise this year. You could go get him a weapon. That's definitely, you could consider, none of the receivers off the board yet. Could, interesting, sneaky Jeremiah Love spot, but I don't think they end up doing that. The route I went, you bring in a guy on the defense that can be a cornerstone of this team. Jeffrey Simmons is that guy. When Jeffrey Simmons is needing to be doubled every play, you have to be able to get pressure from the other side. They haven't been able to do that. So, my pick here for the Tennessee Titans is David Bailey. I went with the pass rush upside of David Bailey over a guy like Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain obviously would be a fine pick as well. I like the upside of David Bailey, the edge rusher from Texas Tech. I think this is a perfect fit right alongside Jeffrey Simmons. I think that is everything that you're going to look for in the defensive line of the future. And I think that'd be a very, very good start to the new era in Tennessee with David Bailey here at number 4. At number 5, the New York Football Giants, the John Harbaugh era, the Jackson Dart era. There's a couple different things you can go here. I like this defense, especially the front 8 for the New York Giants. So I'm not going to go there. The secondary could use some work. Those are things that we can address later in the draft. I think if Harbaugh thinks that he has his quarterback in Jackson Dart, the quarterback of the future, which I am high on. I like Jackson Dart. Cam Scatterboo, Tyrone Tracy, little duo of running backs there. Malik Neighbors coming back to a fully healthy year. Got Wan'Dale Robinson. I want to give Jackson Dart as many weapons as possible to optimize that offense. So, who is the best weapon in this draft? I do believe the best combination of size, speed, and the ability to stay healthy would be Carnell Tate, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. I think Jordan Tyson is more talented of a player. There is massive injury concerns with him. So I think Carnell Tate will ultimately end up being the first receiver off the board here to the New York Giants. At number 6 now, the Cleveland Browns. A couple different ways you can go here. There's definitely holes in this team. I very much want to upgrade the offense. I think defense you stay away from. They had a very, very good defense. Obviously, Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. Carson Schwarzenegger, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Both all-pro level guys. I think if Shedor's the quarterback, you need to optimize Shedor and get him a weapon. That's why I am going with Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver of Arizona State. Look, I think if Carnell Tate's off the board, then Jordan Tyson's going to go next. I love Mekhi Lemon. Mekhi Lemon will be a pick coming up here later. But I think for the Browns, really, you can afford to bank on Jordan Tyson staying healthy. There's teams in this draft that can't bank on that, and they need more. The Browns are definitely a team that can bank on Jordan Tyson staying healthy, and I think giving Shedor a true X wide receiver 1 type guy would be very, very good for this Browns offense. The Commanders here at number 7. This team, specifically the defense, but really the whole team, is getting pretty old. Other than like Jaden Daniels, you have Terry McLaurin, you have Debo. I want to go to the defensive side of the ball. Bobby Wagner, all-pro linebacker for years with Seattle. He's not getting any younger. Nor is anybody on this defense. I want to take who I think has the most upside, not really the most, one of the most upside in this entire draft on the defensive side of the ball, and that's Sonny Styles, the linebacker from Ohio State. Played safety for 2 years at Ohio State, transitioned to linebacker, became the best linebacker in the entire country. He is all of 6'3", 230. He is sideline to sideline. He has speed. He is the Bobby Wagner replacement. He will be a linebacker one on basically any team. He is a perfect scheme fit in a lot of different defenses. And I think Sonny Styles can really just anchor a defense for years to come. I think this is a no-brainer pick here for the Washington Commanders. The Saints now up here at number 9. Tyler Shough showed a lot of good things last year. Now, is Tyler Shough the quarterback of the future? Him being 25, 26 years old? We don't know. He is definitely your quarterback for next year. And with that, there's a couple different directions. I've seen Jeremiah Love here mocked a lot. I think this team has other needs to address that are more important than running back. I think, you could take Jeremiah Love to be that Alvin Kamara replacement, but you still have Alvin Kamara on the roster. You have Devin Neal on the roster. You have guys that can take quality carries. So we're not going the Jeremiah Love route. I want to go the route of getting Tyler Shough another weapon to pair alongside Chris Olave, and I think the absolute perfect weapon for this offense would be Mekhi Lemon. He's shorter. He's not the fastest guy in the world. He plays way, way bigger than how short he is. He plays faster than how slow he is. He is, if I could bet my money on one receiver in this entire draft to be a consistent top-of-the-league slot guy, it would be Mekhi Lemon. I think he has potential all-pro future. I am very, very high on Mekhi Lemon, and I think it is a perfect fit right next to Chris Olave. Now, the Chiefs here at number 9. It's the boring pick. It's the pick you see everywhere, but it's the correct pick. The Kansas City Chiefs will be taking Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame. There is problems with the Chiefs' offense that were very evident this year. Patrick Mahomes, for as good as he is, cannot carry teams to Super Bowls year after year after year. He's done it before. Travis Kelce's aging. He is a shell of what he used to be. Rashee Rice can't seem to take his hands off of women. Xavier Worthy was used improperly, which I very hope Eric Bieniemy coming into this offense can really do something. And I think that's another big factor, is Eric Bieniemy coming back to be the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs once again. The running back coach from the Bears, running back for years. I think you bring in the running back guy. You bring in the offensive coordinator. Get Mahomes his 1,000-yard rusher. There has not been a 1,000-yard rusher in the Mahomes era since the very beginning. Get that guy of the future to man down the backfield and also has extremely, extremely high upside as a pass catcher. There's only one running back on the roster as of right now without any re-signs, and that is Brashard Smith. As you can see, the Chiefs flag back there. I'm a Chiefs fan. I know this. Get Jeremiah Love. He can come in. You can run Jeremiah Love and Brashard Smith, and that is a great dynamic of guys that you can have for the future to take some stress off of Patrick Mahomes' back. Now we have the Bengals here at number 10. I'm going with Ruben Bain Jr., the edge out of Miami. I think right here it is between him and Caleb Downs. I went with the edge from Miami and Ruben Bain. Trey Hendrickson's a free agent. He's probably gone. The Shamar Stewart pick did not work. You need a guy who can cornerstone a defensive line and cornerstone a defense, because this offense is amazing. Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. If this team had a competent defense, they'd be contending for Super Bowls in the AFC every single year. How do you start to build a competent defense? You build it in the trenches. We've seen that time in and time out. Look at the Rams. They built their team in the trenches, and they're consistently in NFC title Super Bowl talks. If you want to build a defense, build it in the trenches. Take a guy who has extreme power, can fit in 3-4 and 4-3. and the guy in Ruben Bain Jr., the edge of Miami. This is not a difficult pick if you're the Bengals. Now, the Dolphins here at number 11. It's one of two players for me. It's one of the corners. It's Mansour-Lane or it's Jermod McCoy. Mansour-Lane played extremely well in 2025 into the 2026 season. Jermod McCoy didn't play at all. When Jermod played in 2024, going back to look at his tape, he was phenomenal. This comes down to, do you want the guy who's shown more recently, or banking that Jermod McCoy comes back from his ACL injury and plays up to what his 2024 tape looks like? If he does, then you're getting an all-pro level corner. If he doesn't, and injuries is a scary thing, especially in ACL. You never know how somebody's going to come back. He didn't play. I assume we're going to be getting some updates with him at the Combine regarding physicals. I doubt he might show us something. I doubt he's going to do any work, though. I am ultimately going to go with Jermod McCoy. Talent for talent, he's the best corner in the draft. One of the best defensive backs in the entire draft. I am going to bank that he comes back and plays up to what that 2024 tape showed me, and I am going to take him here for the Dolphins. Now, Cowboys on the board, number 12, come right back with the other corner, Mansour-Lane. This offense is extremely good. It's the same thing. This is the same conversation about we had with the Bengals. This team has Dak Prescott, who played really good last year. This has CeeDee Lamb, and it has George Pickens. It has two wide receiver ones. It has Javonte Williams if you re-sign him. It has a good young offensive line. You got to build this defense. The defense is just terrible. It is terrible. You can't. I mean, what are you going to do, especially in the secondary? You're going to bet on a guy like DaRon Bland? You let go of Trayvon Diggs in the middle of the season. You can't bet on DaRon Bland to get 8 pick sixes again, or whatever it was. You can't do that. So I'm going to take Mansour-Lane to shore up this secondary that extremely needs it. Now, if you're the Rams here at 13, I think you hit the jackpot with the second best offensive tackle in the class, Spencer Fano from Utah. This is a very easy, very simple pick. Rob Havenstein just retired. It got even simpler. If one of the tackles, being Maui Noah or Fano, is available here at 13 and you're the Rams, you take them. You don't think twice. The Matthew Stafford Super Bowl window it's closing. He's coming back. When you lose your right tackle, you replace him. They needed this even before Havenstein retired. So now you do it now when you can capitalize on still having Stafford in this core. I think it's a perfect fit. Now the Ravens here at 14. Couple different things you can do here. Jesse Minter coming in, taking over as the head coach. You could look at a weapon. I don't know if I'd take, with the top 3 receivers off the board, I don't know if it's probably, for me, it's a little too early at 14 for either of the next guys in Denzel Boston or Casey Concepcion. So I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball here. I'm going to go to the defensive tackle spot. I'm going to take Peter Woods, the defensive tackle out of Clemson. Defensive line needs help. Kyle Van Noy is able to get pressure, but he's 900 years old. Mike Green is not exactly what he looked to be in the pre-draft process last year. Still young, still can develop. And the absolute blaring elephant of a question mark that is Nnamdi Madubuike. Will he ever play football again? We won't know. Hopefully he does. And he posted something, a couple of weeks ago that looked encrypting as if he will. But even if it does and he comes back, then you'd have 2 extremely high potential defensive tackles in Nnamdi Madubuike and Peter Woods. And if not, then you're replacing Nnamdi Madubuike with a guy who has extreme upside in Peter Woods at the defensive tackle position, a guy that can just eat space, create pressure from the interior. I think it's a perfect fit in the Jesse Minter style defense that he wants to run. Perfect pick here for the Ravens. The Buccaneers here at 15. you need help on the defensive side of the ball. Mike Evans just announced today that he's exploring free agency. Chris Godwin, we don't know what's happening with that. You could, I guess, look at the offense, but I think you definitely need help here on the defensive side of the ball, especially in that front eight, the defensive line. If Sonny Styles was still here, I think it's a no-brainer pick. You could also look at a guy like Caleb Downs, who I'm going to veer off of for this pick for the simple fact that you have Antoine Winfield and guys like that are young safety defensive backs. So I'm going to go to the defensive line, which you desperately need pass rush. So I'm going to take a guy who has extremely high upside, short arms, a lot of sack production this year, Cassius Howell, the edge rusher from Texas A&M. He wreaked havoc. He's got short arms, and that's the biggest question with him. I think if you're able to get over the fact that he has short arms, that this is an extremely high upside pick on the defensive line, and the Buccaneers need help on the defensive line. I think it's a no-brainer if he's here. You take Cassius Howell, and you don't think twice. Now, the Jets here. You talk about everything I said earlier, just building this team. He fell right into your lap. This is the easiest pick of the entire draft. I'm not even going to spend too much time talking about it. Caleb Downs, the safety out of Ohio State. He's my number one overall player in the entire draft, and he fell to 16 due to positional value. That's basically it. That's the same reason why Jeremiah Love's going to go at 9 to the Chiefs here for me. It's positional value. Caleb Downs falls to 16 due to positional value. He's my best overall, number one overall player in the entire draft. I think this is an absolute home run if you're able to get the two Ohio State guys, Arvell Reese and Caleb Downs, back on the same team in New York. That is a very, very promising defense for the future and two cornerstone guys that can be there for years to come. Now you have the Lions here at 17, which is a tricky pick. There's a couple different directions you go. I want to go on the defensive side of the ball. I want to go on the defensive line. I'm going to take a shot here. And this is a very weird pick, and I've gone back and forth on this player specifically. Not for production reasons or upside reasons, for age. I'm going to go Akeem Mesidor, the edge rusher from Miami. He's 25 years old. He'll be 25, maybe 26 when the season starts. He's old. What I watched all season in college football was Miami's defensive line absolutely take over games. Ruben Bain, Akeem Mesidor took over games. Who is the Ruben Bain replacement? Aiden Hutchinson over there in Detroit. You need another pass rusher alongside Aiden Hutchinson. Why not go take a shot on a guy who dominated as a secondary pass rusher, not the superstar guy, but a guy who did immense amounts of damage on the other side of Ruben Bain, especially in the playoff. I think if a team's going to take a shot on a guy like an Akeem Mesidor with the age, I think the Lions is a perfect team to do it. And that's what I'm going to do here. Akeem Mesidor to the Lions at 17. Now we go to the Vikings here at 18. This is a pick that really warmed up to me. I'm going to go with Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the safety out of Toledo, to the Vikings at 18. They need defensive back help. They need safety help specifically. Harrison Smith, very old. Who is a Harrison Smith replacement and a guy that goes to a small school that not a lot of people are talking about that I think is getting more love now, that has really, really warmed up to me, is Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Let's think about this. You talk about small school competition, and I hear that's going to be a thing that they talk about. Oh, he didn't play anybody. Who went to the same exact school and got taken in the first round and now is dominating in the defensive back in the secondary? Quinyon Mitchell for the Philadelphia Eagles. He played corner at Toledo. Everybody was, he didn't play any competition. They took a shot on him in the first round, and now he's become an elite shutdown outside corner. You need secondary help. You need safety help. I love Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. He's a freak athlete. He's going to test extremely well. I think this is a perfect fit for him in this Vikings defense. And this Brian Flores is going to fall in love with him. And he is the heir apparent replacement to Harrison Smith. It's perfect. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, safety to the Vikings. Now we get into the playoff teams. The Carolina Panthers at 19. Ike Ekwonu is more than likely going to be out for all of next year. You need help on the interior of your offensive line, and now you're going to need help on the exterior. I have a second round grade, or a second or third round grade, day 2 grade, on Caden Proctor, the offensive tackle out of Alabama. However, this could be a very sneaky pick for the Panthers, and I am going to take Caden Proctor because he can come in. He's a massive human being. He's 6'7", 6'8", 350, 360 pounds. He is a world eater. He cannot move. What you do is you need offensive tackle. Ike Ekwonu is not going to play next year. You bring in Caden Proctor. You test him out next year at offensive tackle. If it works, wonderful. Then you can move him to the other side. Or it doesn't work. You have a down year. Ike Ekwonu comes back in the 2027-2028 season. You have an all-pro potential if you move Caden Proctor to guard. He's a man-eater. He's a mammoth of a human being, and I think a team taking a shot on him, like the Panthers, is not out of the realm of possibility. Cowboys back up here on the clock at 20. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. We're going all defense. They took Mansour Lane at pick 12. I'm taking Keldrick Falk, the edge rusher at Auburn. Needs to be developed as a pass rusher. He has all-pro level, day 1 run-stopping ability. He's also a mammoth of a human being. He's about 6'5", 250 pounds. He carries it extremely well. He's absolutely jacked. All-pro level run defender. He needs to develop as a pass rusher. The pass rushing is not there. He has extreme potential, and he has a guy that can eat. And he doesn't have to come in and be the number 1 pass rusher because there is a guy in Donovan Ezeraku who was able to do that last year. You trade away Micah Parsons, who's one of the best players in the NFL. You need to get a guy to replace that hole. I think Keldrick Falk has potential to not be Micah Parsons, but to be a capable, very good pass rusher alongside Donovan Ezeraku, and then you have your duo of the future on the edge. 21, the Steelers. This team frustrates me. It is the most kind of whatever team. There is so many holes, yet so little. If you know what I'm saying. This is a team that could maybe take a shot on Ty Simpson. Aaron Rodgers probably isn't coming back. How do you feel about Will Howard? You haven't given him a shot, but that's who's next. You're not running in there with Mason Rudolph. You're not running in there with Mitch Trubisky. You could take a shot on Ty Simpson. I'm not going to do that. You got DK Metcalf who you traded for. I don't think you go receiver. You have Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell in the backfield. I don't think you go running back. I think your offensive line is fine. I think that can be addressed later. You go to the defense. I think the defensive line is still good. Cameron Hayward is extremely aging, so you could look maybe on an interior guy like a Lee Hunter, someone like that. I'm going to go to the secondary, however. I'm going to go with Avion Terrell, the corner out of Clemson. Little brother of Falcons corner, A.J. Terrell. I like Avion Terrell. I think he's very, very good. And I think if he comes in here and he can be partnered right alongside Joey Porter Jr., I think that is a very capable corner that can help anchor this secondary for, years to come. But there is a lot of different ways that the Steelers can go, and this team just frustrates me, and it's hard for me to talk about them because there's just so much what. Chargers here at 22. Easiest pick to this point is Vega Ioane, the offensive lineman from Penn State. Joe Alt's coming back. Rashawn Slater's coming back. You need help on the interior. You have Mekhi Becton. You could maybe get a guy like Tyler Linderbaum in free agency. You need another guard. Vega Ioane is a guy that can come in, day one starter for you on the interior of that offensive line. And the Chargers are going to be a scary, scary team next year. Up front, they are going to maul people. Joe Alt was an all-pro before he got injured. Rashawn Slater was an all-pro before he got injured. Vega Ioane has all-pro upside in the interior of the offensive line. That's a team that's going to maul people, and I really, really, really love that pick for the Los Angeles Chargers. Eagles here at 23. This is an interesting pick. I'm going to go with Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end out of Oregon. Dallas Goedert is a free agent. He's 29 years old, I want to say. There's not a lot of holes on this team. There's not. You don't need to touch the defense right now. The only potential hole, maybe you trade away A.J. Brown and you bring somebody else in. This is a team, maybe you say you get rid of A.J. Brown, then you bring in a Denzel Boston or a Casey Concepcion. But let's say you keep A.J. Brown and you let Dallas Goedert walk. You bring in a guy who has monster receiving upside and also an incredible run blocker. Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end at Oregon, I think it's a cheating pick if you're the Eagles, honestly. You just nail the draft every time. And I love Kenyon Sadiq. I am going to be taking Kenyon Sadiq here for the Eagles. Browns back up on the clock here at 24. You took Jordan Tyson in the first round. You got Shedeur Weapon. Now let's get him some protection. Let's go with the other Utah offensive tackle and Caleb Lomu. Don't really have to talk much about this pick. He's got extreme potential. Him and Fano, really both tackles for Utah, I think are very, very good. I think they're both going to be first-round picks. Lomu could go on day two, but I think if you're the Browns, like I said, you can afford to gamble, and you need to get Shedeur some protection. That offensive line is not good. Jedrick Wills is not your left tackle of the future. Let's get a guy like Caleb Lomu who can come in and start on day one and help protect Shedeur. Now the Bears here at 25. Very, very good year for the first year under Ben Johnson. Bears fans don't like the way it ended. And I feel like a lot of the NFL is not giving Ben Johnson credit for what he did in his first year. This is a rant for a whole other time. I think the offense, I like where the offense is. I love, obviously, Caleb Williams. He's your quarterback of the future. You have DJ Moore. You have Luther Bird, and you have Rome Odunze. Oh, receivers, check. You could go offensive line, but the offensive line was really good. The DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai backfield was really good. The defense was incredible at causing turnovers, but you cannot fully rely on turnovers to win you football games. They were able to this year. They have forced more turnovers than any team in the NFL, and that won them games. I think you need to upgrade the defense, though. So I'm going to go with Caleb Banks, the defensive tackle from Florida. There's a lot of upside here for Caleb Banks. I've seen him be mocked as high as number 10. I've seen him be mocked all the way from the first round to the second. And I think getting him to come in and anchor the interior of a defense is something that could really benefit the Bears. And I think you go defensive line if you're the Bears and you don't really think about it. And I think Caleb Banks is the best defensive lineman left on the board. So I think this is an easy pick. Now the Bills here at 26. You know, I've seen people say that A.J. Brown's getting traded. You got rid of Sean McDermott. You brought in Joe Brady, who was the offensive coordinator. Great hire, by the way. I love Joe Brady. I think he's going to do great things, especially just being upgraded. He didn't have to go find a whole new team. He knows these guys. And I think he knows what he's doing. I think he knows he's going offense. I think he knows he's going receiver. I think the best receiver left on the board is Denzel Boston. He's a size mismatch. He's huge. He's incredible contested catch ability. Can get down the field, be a true X. The receiving core is not there for the Bills. Khalil Shakir is good in the slot. Brandon Cooks is a good deep threat. He's 900 years old. Who else is on that team? Is Curtis Samuel still even on that team? You have the two tight ends in Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid, but you need a true X. Keon Coleman isn't anything. He might even get released after all of the owners, what they've been saying. If I were Keon Coleman, I wouldn't want to play for the Bills anymore. Go get your X. Go get what you thought Keon Coleman was. Go get Denzel Boston to be the X and be the wide receiver one type guy of the future for Josh Allen in this Bills offense. For the 49ers here at 27, the rich get richer on the defensive line. Give me Cade McDonald, the defensive tackle from Ohio State. You got Nick Bosa coming back on the edge. You got Mykel Williams coming back on the edge. That could be a nice duo if Mykel Williams pans out. I think it's too young to say if he really panned out or not. Cade McDonald has potential, like a lot of players in this draft. I say this a lot. He has all-pro potential. Caden McDonald is a terror in the middle. We saw that for Ohio State all year. And I think it'd be an absolutely perfect fit in this 49ers defense. Can play in the 3-4, can play in the 4-3. I love this pick. I'm going with Caden McDonald, the defensive tackle from Ohio State. Texans here at 28. We're not going to spend too much time here. It's Blake Miller, the offensive tackle from Clemson. C.J. Stroud was bad last year. This was a generational defense. You cannot waste this prime years of a generational defense that you have if your offense is not able to do anything. You know what's going to help C.J. Stroud play better? If you give him an offensive line. He was the rookie of the year, his rookie season, and then you trade away Laremy Tunsil. Go get this man an offensive tackle. I think Blake Miller has day one starter ability in the NFL. I'm not talking about this pick anymore. Go get this man, C.J. Stroud, an offensive tackle. Blake Miller's the best one left on the board. All right, let's kind of rapid fire through these last picks here. The Rams at 29. This Stafford window's closing. Go get another weapon. Devontae Adams is older. Go get a guy that can learn from Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, and then whenever Adams leaves, he can take that spot. I'm going Casey Concepcion, the receiver from Texas A&M. I think he can come in and be your wide receiver 3 immediately, and then whenever Adams leaves, he can be your wide receiver 2 next to Puka. I think it's perfect. Don't really have to spend too much time on that. Broncos at 30. C.J. Allen, the linebacker from Georgia. I mean, he was a play caller in Kirby Smart's defense. That's all you really got to know about him. The Dre Greenlaw experiment didn't work. He's been injured, and then when he was on the field, it was, okay. This is a great defense. You need a force in the interior. Alex Singleton is not that. He's good, but he's not that for you. I think C.J. Allen could be an anchor in the middle of this defense for years to come. I really like this pick for them. Patriots at 31. You lost the Super Bowl. You're down bad. You know who would help? Maybe Lee Hunter, the defensive tackle from Texas Tech. I know it's an interesting pick, considering you have Milton Williams on the inside. But let me paint a picture. Milton Williams, Lee Hunter, side by side, you can't run up the middle. It's very, very simple. Lee Hunter's a massive human being. Him next to Milton Williams, who's one of the best interior defensive linemen in football. That's a defensive tackle duo for the ages. Can't run up the middle. Makes offenses, sort of one-dimensional. It's a perfect pick for the Patriots. And then the final pick in this draft, the Super Bowl winning Seattle Seahawks. I think it's very, very simple. You have Devon Witherspoon, who is the cornerback one of the future. Then you have a bunch of other guys. You have Tariq Woolen, you have Kobe Bryant. I think one of those two is not going to be on the team in the future. And I think you're just going to go, whether that's Tariq Woolen or Kobe Bryant, you just go ahead and draft the replacement in Brandon Cease from South Carolina. He comes in and he can just take somebody's job and then you can let the other person go because I think one of them is not going to be on the team. And I think it's a perfect fit, Brandon Cease. And that Will McDonald defense, I love it. And that is officially it. The Jacob Dow Sports 1.0 NFL mock draft. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know what you would change. Let me know what players you might think, hey, maybe this guy you can take him here. So let me know. This is, like I said, the 1.0 mock draft. We will be doing more here in the future. I want to start pumping out content. And there's a lot coming up. Draft season, best time of the year. Everybody knows that. So I want to pump out a lot of draft content. So a lot of the channel's future kind of trajectory is going to be focused right now on the draft. Also, we have March coming up, so March Madness. We'll talk about that a lot into the NBA playoffs and a little bit of baseball season. So we got a lot coming. But yeah, this was the 1.0 mock draft. Let me know what you think. We'll do another one post-combine, so expect that, a couple of weeks or so. And yeah, if you're seeing this, like, subscribe, go ahead. It's free. It's literally free. It's literally free. And then if you do it, then maybe I can start posting more and we can just keep doing this thing. So go ahead. Go ahead. It's free. Subscribe right now. Anyway, that was the 1.0 mock. Let me know your thoughts down below. Hope you all have an incredible rest of your day. Love.